the Chiefs have picked up, kind of made a point to kind of hone in and make sure two anchors of the defense stay put. With both their contracts set to expire in 2025, the Chiefs picked up the fifth-year option on Trent McDuffie and defensive end George Karlaftis, both who are obviously integral pieces of the 2022 draft class and just have been an integral part of the defense over the last 3 years now. With both now in the fold for the 2026 season, McDuffie will now make $3.6 million, and Karlaftis is set to receive about $15.1 million. So good payday for the guys with this fifth-year option. But JD, obviously, this is no shock to us. We knew this was going to happen. Anybody who thought this wasn't going to happen, I don't know to tell you that this is always a part of the deal. This is always going to happen. What do you make of the moves? Obviously, no shock, but what do you make of the moves? Just kind of showing that we are this is our defense. And these two are key parts of the team.
No, it makes sense. It makes a whole lot of sense. Like you said, they're key parts of the team. Why wouldn't you do that? You don't want them coming in this year and looking out for free agents in the year after. Go ahead and sword up right now. Man, you talking about a bargain on Trent McDuffie that we got, and it's just part of that's the deal, And it was crazy because I was looking at the stipulations. If he had made a Pro Bowl, he would have gotten significantly more money. And the fact that he was all pro and then I think second team all pro, but you don't make a Pro Bowl, that's the kicker. That's what takes him. I thought that's crazy, seriously. And getting a deal on him like that right now is a bargain. He's one of the top corners in the league. I'd put him right up there, top three, really, seriously, that we see. And then Karlaftis, I mean, shoot. Getting in for that amount of money, that's a pretty penny he's getting right now. That's a beautiful, beautiful contract that he's going to go see, and he's earned it. He's put the time in and effort in. He's earned every bit of it. I remember, Marcus, when we talked about getting Karlaftis here, when he was from college, and I was sitting there saying we need to get a guy like that. And George was right. That was our pick. That was the guy we wanted. We got him here, and he showed everything that he had. So this is a great thing for the Chiefs. It's a great thing for the Chiefs defense. Two guys like this who are now considered veteran guys, got a little bit more, experience, so they could speak to a lot of the guys coming in. But man, they're a staple of our defense. One being the corner, the secondary, and George being right there on the front lines. It was absolutely perfect for us. Well done.
Yeah, we talk about just that them being veterans, so to speak, only going into their third year here or third year. This is first year. We went to beat the Eagles their first year. Second year we beat the Niners. Third, so this going to their fourth year. Yeah. These guys have played 20 plus games every year they've been in the league and need to go to the Super Bowl every year. That's pretty unheard of stuff for guys, freshly in the league. But these are veterans. I mean, these are. You talk about the defense. You talk about Chris Jones. You start off with Chris Jones. You talk about Nick Bolton, and then you can make the case for McDuffie or Karlaftis as the third guy you mentioned there on the defense. I mean, these guys are the staples of the defense. Big parts of it.
So now that you know that you got him for 2 years, this year and then the year after, it was very important. That was very important. And like I would say, man, probably it was a bargain for the Chiefs to do. No brainer. It was absolutely no brainer, man. So, yeah.
And I'm seeing, Nana Share says Jones mentors Karlaftis and Karlaftis mentors Gelati. That's how it's supposed to be, right, JD? I mean, you have the elder statesmen in the room mentor the younger guys so that those younger guys can end up mentoring the new guys. All starts from the top.
Oh, yeah. So, that's how it works. PayPal Trader says, I'm getting pumped. I'm watching Jason Dunn highlights on Monster off of the Monster Spikes. Oh, yeah, it's a good one. I don't know who put that together. It was a good one, though. Noah John Marshall said, pick one to re-sign.
Ooh. And I know you and Tage have waiver. I've gone back and forth on the same exact question on.
Yeah. Man, that's a tough one. I think McDuffie, because of what he brings, and I'm telling you, people argue it top 5. I think McDuffie would be the guy for sure, because he is a shutdown corner. He's one of those guys that it's hard to replace. Not saying that Karlaftis is not, but McDuffie, for what he takes and what he brings to our secondary, almost second to none. Like I said, he's one of the top 5 in the league for sure at that position. So,
I guess between the two of them, right? I mean, they both bring their own. They bring their both specialty to the defense. If it's within, and I think the UTH talked about this a little bit, but like, let's say McDuffie's getting around 30 a year, Karlaftis is wanting what, 15 to 18 a year. I mean, does that difference in price change your rationale on it?
It may, yeah, for sure, definitely. But that's why you keep drafting corners, because you want to see they want to see who they can get. It's a business. That's just what it is, So if they find somebody can do what Karlaftis can do, like they said, it could be almost 30 a year up to for McDuffie. So but at Karlaftis, if he gets that, we don't know what it can be, what the price tag is going to be. So I think it's the reason you go the 5th-year option, right? You have it for the 2 years. I don't know if you kick the can down the road, but the thing is, man, shoot, when you start talking about everybody that's getting contracts, it's only a few that's going to be really top heavy in a lot of different ways,
Yeah, I mean that's the salary cap gymnastics Brett Veach has to play when you have Mahomes and you have Chris Jones, 2 guys you're getting paid a lot of money. And then, we talk about Trey Smith potential extension. So, there's more money there that way. So, yeah, they're going to have their hands full in the coming years. But at least, we have the 5th-year option on them. So they're here for 2 more years at least. And then we'll hear next year, next offseason, people saying, oh, you should sign and trade. You should trade to McDuffie and get draft capital, which I heard that this year as well, this past offseason too. So
Damani Green Peas said corners aren't falling out of trees. That's for sure. That is for sure. Oh.
And look, we'll see. We have no Williams. I mean, right? We drafted one in this draft. See what he's got. They signed Christian Fulton to a 3-year deal. We'll see what he's got. So yeah, I mean, like we talked about, the secondary looks pretty good right now. So I'm curious to see how all these pieces kind of mesh together. And then of course the edge rush aspect. When got Gelati, see how the guys on the insides do. But yeah, Menahu's on a 1-year deal. This is probably his last year in Kansas City. So yeah, the edge rush is on a year-to-year pace. And that's one thing we always talk about, JD. Every year they should, like they have it with the DBs. Every year you should be going back in the draft, getting at least one edge rusher, getting at least one, cornerback, and see what they do with that. And I think they've done a good job with the secondary with that edge rush.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the FAU thing, that's a big part of this whole thing. If FAU ends up panning out, and hopefully he does, hopefully this is the year where he kind of snaps into becoming the guy that we thought, then, that makes things kind of easier, right? But if FAU doesn't, that's one miss in that first round where it's like, man, like if only we hit it with that edge rush in that first round a couple of years ago. So we'll see what happens in this 3rd year.
Well, I mean, yeah. Like Noah John Marshall said, is conundrum because they got Trey Smith on it too. So yeah, they'll figure it out. They'll figure it out. When we start speculating on contracts and whatnot, man, who knows? They only them can sit there and say, okay, we can keep this guy. Might not be able to keep him. I know the salary cap is going up every year, but still, these are hefty positions to pay. They are.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, on the defensive side of the ball, these are 2 of the positions that they're the ones that demand the most money: edge rush and cornerback play. So yeah. Hey, we got lucky, being able to draft both those guys in 2022. Now you got to deal with the other side of that. Now is, do you pay or do you let go? But at least, we have the 5th-year option, so we have at least 2 more years that we have to think about that conversation.
Yeah, and that's why you draft guys.
Exactly. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.